ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So, Soul Circle, that is the Star Spangled Banner, also known as the U.S. National Anthem. And it was known as the national anthem when Congress proclaimed it the U.S. national anthem in 1931, the Star Spangled Banner. So the original, poem for that lays the foundation for that song is written in 1814 by Francis Scott Key. And it was really it wasn't meant with the intention of, okay, the whole of U.S. will sing this song and it means that you really are a patriot. It was it was written in defense of Fort McHenry, one part of the colonies at that time during that, in 1814. And so then it becomes the U.S. national anthem in 1931. And we all know what America looked like in 1931, right? So certainly it couldn't mean, like one of the lines is, or the land of the free and the home of the brave. It certainly couldn't mean the land of the free. And if it does mean land of free, it excluded several portions of the U.S. American society. Think about that. It certainly excluded people of color, black people, and it certainly excluded women. Let's be very clear about that. So when it says over the land of the free, free for who? Free to who? Free for who? And just based on the time that it was written, and even when it is adopted as the U.S. national anthem in 1931, that doesn't include all of society. So let's just be very clear about that. It's over time that it has been sang and memorized in everyone's head that this is what you sing. But think about what it means. It's kind of like any song where it says, oh, that girl had a big booty and she shook it every day, right? It can never mean that girl went to school every day. It means that girl had a big booty and she shook it every day. That is in 1950 and 1960, that girl had a big booty and she shook it every day. In 1940 and going forward, it's always going to mean that girl had a big booty and she shook it every day. Now, there are definitely different interpretations to make it kind of go down more easily, right? So, that girl had a big booty. As time goes on, that can mean like sexual freedom, right? So it doesn't just mean, okay, well, she's using her big booty and shaking it every day in order to get what she wants. But it could mean as time goes on, as things change and develop, it could mean sexual freedom. But, it still starts with the intention of that girl had a big booty and she shakes it every day. Right? That's how it starts. That's the intention. It's just only over time that it changed. It may have a different interpretation at that time. But, it is what it is, right? Soul Circle, like it is what it is. Anyway, so that part of the Star Spangled Banner is really only one stanza which is one paragraph of the U.S. national anthem, also known as the Star Spangled Banner. So I will use those interchangeably. So there are three other different stanzas to that. And so I'm going to read you the last one. Oh, thus it... Okay, sorry, Soul Circle family. Oh, thus be it ever when free men shall stand between their loved homes and the ward's desolation. Beat with victory and peace, may the heaven-rescued land praise the power that hath made and preserved us as a nation. Then conquer we must when our cause is just. And this be our motto, in God we trust. And the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave over the land of the free and home of the brave. So that is what, so Colin's not just taking a knee to that one stanza. It's the entire song, and the entire song has issues. It was written in 1814. Had to have issues. I think the only thing that may not have had issues, and probably still does have issues today, is that statement, I love you. Right? I love you. So I love you in 1814 pretty much means the same thing that it means in 2017. But not really to some people. I love you could be a very superficial thing. Doesn't really mean that you love the person, mind, body, and soul. It could just mean, I love being around the person. And so that's a different interpretation. And it has to be acknowledged. So Colin Kaepernick, as a quarterback who used his platform, he took a knee because what he sees is that the intention of that song certainly is no reflection of what's going on in the U.S. of A. There is no, over the land of the free, or all of the people that have been murdered, all of the black men that have been murdered, all of the unarmed people that have been murdered by the government. Is that really them being free? Is that really a sense of freedom? I think that's something that has to definitely be discussed, because I just, how is that you're free, but you can be killed for any certain reason, as if there's no value on your life. But you don't see other groups being killed at the numbers that you're being killed at. Like, you can fear for your life going down the street, but does every other racial and ethnic group going down the street fear for their life as well? Because, something, maybe the government didn't have a good day to that day. And in this situation, I'm talking about the government. I'm sorry, not the government, the police. So maybe they just didn't have a good day that day. Maybe the night wasn't a good night. And so all of a sudden, are you the target because they didn't have a good day? But regardless of what the motivation is, you lose your life. But do other groups lose their life as well? Like what is so wrong about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee? He didn't turn his back. He didn't say, F that, I'm going into the locker room. Like, he took a knee, which I think is very respectful. It's almost like the sit-ins. So when you go to a restaurant and you can't be served at the restaurant because you are a person of color, well, you do the sit-in. You go to the counter and you sit down, and you are beat over your head, spit in your face, knocked over your head, but you still go to the counter. So, but Colin Kaepernick, despite his diverse background, he is then ostracized for using his platform as a big quarterback in the NFL. And so now they're talking about they're never going to sign him. The NFL and the owners, we're not going to sign Colin Kaepernick to any team because he's doing something that's seen as unpatriotic. as said by President Trump, your President Trump. So he sees that as unpatriotic, taking a knee, but he doesn't see as unpatriotic him saying that you can grab any pussy you want. Any pussy that you want, you can grab it as long as you have the money and you are a celebrity. You can grab it, right? But there's nothing wrong with that, and that goes to putting women down. You know, you feel like you can just go up to a woman and grab her private parts, like do that to his daughter and see how well that fares. But there's that, and then there's Colin Kaepernick who's saying, you know what? There's an issue. There's an issue here in this U.S. of A. and it's getting really bad. It's getting really bad, and something needs to be done. I'm going to use my platform to bring light and shine light on this terrible situation and see if something can be done. So that is Colin Kaepernick. But I'm going to let Colin tell you on his own. And so this is Colin Kaepernick, and we're going to listen to a little bit of, and this of course is not one of my songs, just like the national anthem is not one of my songs, but it is a song that I know, that I've been taught since I was a little girl. So I know it. Even though I don't sing it every day, I know that song. So we're going to listen to Colin Kaepernick explain why he knelt during the national anthem.
What are you trying to accomplish? What would you like this to be the end game for you?
That's basically. Ultimately, it's to bring awareness and make people, realize what's really going on in this country. There are a lot of things that are going on that are unjust. People aren't being held accountable for, and that's something that needs to change. That's something that, this country stands for: freedom, liberty, justice for all, and it's not happening for all right now.
Is this something that's evolved as a philosophy in your mind, and how has this kind of progressed that you make a stand like this?
It's something that I've seen, I've felt, wasn't quite sure how to deal with originally, and it is something that's evolved. It's something, as I've gained more knowledge about, what's going on in this country in the past, what's going on currently. These aren't new situations. This isn't new ground. It's things that have gone on in this country for years and years and have never been addressed, and they need to be.
Will you continue, Colin, to sit? Will you continue to sit?
Yes, I'll continue to sit. I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. To me, this is something that has to change, and when there's significant change, and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, and this country is representing people the way that it's supposed to, I'll stand.
Specifically, what would you like to see change in order for you to stand?
So that is, as you heard, that is an interview with Colin Kaepernick. And, he'll sit, he'll kneel, but he's going to stand with the people. Now, everybody be very clear as to Colin Kaepernick, right? So he's a quarterback. I told you he was from the 49ers. He's a young man. He was in the 2011 NFL draft. He was initially started as a backup for Alex Smith on the 49ers, and then, of course, he becomes a starter for the 49ers. Takes them to the Super Bowl. Takes them to the big dance. Like, it wasn't like he didn't even take them to the big dance. That is supposed to mean something, but for Colin Kaepernick, it just is, it hurts to say that I feel like his taking that position with, he may kneel, but he stands with the people. Like, I think that what happened to Trayvon Martin, I think that what happened to all of the unarmed black men, that's wrong. And I'm going to use my platform. That right there, that voice that he chose to, use is the voice that has him not being picked for the NFL. Being seen as being unpatriotic. How can you be unpatriotic when you say you stand with the people? It's unpatriotic for a congressperson to represent a whole district, but you do nothing that the district asks you to do. The majority of the district asks you to do. because we all know everybody's not going to want or say or do the same thing. But the majority